Welcome into Sideline Signal. I'm Andrew, as always, joined by Tyler. We are back doing schedule predictions. This time we're doing the entirety of the Big 12. We've already done the ACC, we've already done the SEC. Now it's time to do probably the most unpredictable conference of all, which is the Big 12. We had a lot of chaos last year. Arizona State won it all. I'm curious to see if we have them winning it all again this season, but it's going to be fun to go through. Tyler, how are you feeling for the Big 12? Do you think there's going to be the same amount of chaos as last year, or do you think this will be more predictable?
I really hope for the same amount of chaos. There is we're gonna go through this, and I'm not gonna know is going to be in the championship game. I don't have anyone in my mind until we get through it. It is the Wild West in college football, coast to coast teams, and it's just going to be insane. As you said, Arizona State picked to finish last year. They end up making the playoff, getting the bye in the college football playoff. A lot of returning. Obviously, you're not getting Cam Scatterboo back, but you got Sam Levitt in his second year fully at Arizona State. Kenny Dillingham, the young coach, firing everybody up. And then also like Jalen Tyson on the outside, who's going to be one of the top wide receivers in this class upcoming. But there are some sneaky teams. We got Iowa State, who's returning a lot. K-State, who's returning a lot. Baylor, who was returning a lot, had a six-game winning streak going into this year. So there's a lot of wild cards. We'll see what happens, but I'm excited to get into it.
Yeah, well, without further ado, let's start with the week 0 games. It's funny that this website has the order different, so we'll start with the actual first game of the college football season. The Aer Lingus College Football Classic getting played in Dublin, Ireland. Kansas State, the de facto home team, although obviously it's across the pond out in Ireland. K-State taking on Iowa State. Top 25 matchup, and to me, a potential decider for who could make the Big 12 title game. I'm liking Iowa State in this a little bit more than K-State. When kind of just comparing the two, I like Avery Johnson more than Rocco Becht, but I think overall Iowa State's the more consistent team within conference play. I'm curious to hear your thoughts, but like I said, for just off the top of my head, I'm thinking I'm leaning more towards Iowa State to win this one.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. I am actually more sold on Rocco Beck than Avery Johnson. We kind of disagree there, but it's two similar stories where we've been waiting for these quarterbacks to kind of step up into the upper echelon in college football, both for Avery Johnson and Rocco Becht. Obviously, not everyone's going, oh, Rocco Becht, Heisman finalist, but the hype is there. He's been in this offense for a couple of seasons now. Same with Avery Johnson. It should be really close, obviously neutral site. So K-State doesn't get the home field advantage that they would hope for in a regular conference game, and that could play into it. And it also might be jet lag. I mean, it is a really far trip to get to Ireland. I'm sure they're already there, if I had to guess. Or they're definitely already there now, the Wednesday before the game. I can't wait to see it. Last year's game was electric between Georgia Tech and Florida State. I'm willing to go Iowa State here in a really close game and an exciting one to kick off the season.
Yeah, no doubt. I think for me, with it being week 0, turnovers are going to be the story of the game. And I think Iowa State was just a little bit better at limiting turnovers from last season. All right, so let's move on to the other week 0 game. Kansas at home taking on Fresno State. I don't think this one should have any discrepancy unless you're big on Fresno State. I think
Nah,
Jalen Daniels coming back. Kansas could potentially be a sneaky team, maybe play some upsets this season. But yeah, I think they comfortably won at home versus Fresno State week 1.
yeah, very volatile quarterback in Jalen Daniels. We'll see which Jalen Daniels we get week to week, the explosive one or the turnover machine. But yeah, Kansas easy over Fresno State there.
All right. And then I'm sure with some of these we can kind of just plug in. UCF will beat Jacksonville State.
Scott Frost's first game back at the bounce house there.
Yeah. Are you excited for Scott Frost? Do you think he'll be able to take UCF to the glory, or do you think he's going to be like he was at Nebraska?
So I think it's going to be somewhere in between. UCF simply does not have the talent that they had when they went undefeated and won that national championship. For those that aren't going to be able to see me, I did some finger quotes there because that is not a natty at all. But they should be exciting. A successful season for Scott Frost is a bowl game, I think, for this year. And I think they could do that. But I think for the most part, they're going to be overmatched in Big 12 competition as they were last year.
Yeah, I agree with you there. We can continue to keep moving on. Houston will beat Stephen F.
Yep.
Austin. I
Okay.
think Oklahoma State should win against UTM. Do you feel that this game, Nebraska, Cincinnati, obviously Nebraska going on the road, do you think Cincy could pull it off? How do you feel about Dylan Raiola going into year two and Matt Rule into was it year three now?
So this is make or break for Matt Rule, Dylan Raiola as well. Not make or break, but this has got to be a year where he takes some steps. Their offensive line was absolutely horrid last year, and he had no protection. It should be better. Cincinnati is a team that just makes me kind of go, eh, like they're not impressive in any way, shape, or form. And this game's actually neutral site. I believe it's at Arrowhead.
Okay.
So it should actually be closer to a Nebraska home game than a Cincinnati home game. I like Nebraska here. I don't know. Cincinnati just tough sell for me.
Yeah, Cincinnati doesn't have any wow factor for me either. I was going Nebraska all the way. It's going to be another heartbreak for Cincinnati fans in Arrowhead Stadium.
Yeah.
We already did this one in our SEC prediction video. We're taking Baylor over Auburn, especially now with all news coming out with Auburn. Obviously, they just claimed like 7 national championships.
Yeah. One of which they
Clearly,
finished
they've had a
20th.
lot of struggle in camp. Freeze also said, which I thought was funny, that we could potentially see all three of their quarterbacks play week one against Baylor. So that's going to be interesting. My confidence, which was already little in Auburn, is continuing to tank. So I
Yeah.
don't think there's any question. Baylor could potentially be a competitor this year for the Big 12. I don't see any way Auburn get it done.
Yeah, I kind of think that this game ends up being a blowout, to be completely honest with you. Riding high off the momentum of last year, winning six straight to end the season after a season that was really down in the dumps. They turned it around very quickly. Auburn's also going to be rolling out with like 4 or 5 play callers. I don't know if you heard the news about that, but it's a mess down there right now. So yeah, Baylor easily. In my mind. Moving on, Wagner taking on Kansas. We're taking Kansas there. Easy 2-0 for Kansas going in. Not easy. I don't want to. If Fresno State wins that game, then obviously we got to respect Fresno State, but they could be easily looking at 2-0 there. Georgia Tech versus Colorado. I believe we took Georgia Tech in this game when we did the ACC on the road. So Colorado opens up 0-1 in the post Shador, Travis Hunter era. They'll be an interesting team. Kind of not as hype, not as flashy as last year, but still, I believe pretty solid. They picked up a lot of good recruits, and the transfer class was good as well. Getting Caden Salter from Liberty, so we'll see there. Utah versus UCLA. This is an interesting game. Dylan Dampier, his first game at Utah from New Mexico. Then we got Nico, of course, coming from Tennessee to UCLA. Uh, who you giving the edge to here?
I don't know if I want to pick a team. I don't This is a game I'm telling you I'm not watching. This is
Yeah.
going to be a miserable game to watch. It's going to be so boring. There's going to be a lot of turnovers. I could see a lot of three and outs. I'm not big on either of these teams this year. I think UCLA are going to take a step in the right direction, obviously with Nico now, compared to last season where they were abysmal.
Mhm.
That being said, I think Utah's going to win. I don't know if Nico's going to be able to do enough in his first season. I think UCLA are going to take steps in the right direction, but I think Utah is a far more complete and established program currently. While they struggled last year, and I don't think they're going to be that good. I think they're just slightly better than UCLA.
Yeah, and I tend to agree with you there. Utah is definitely the more physical team and definitely has the better defense. So they're gonna need a Nico masterclass to win this game, and I don't think they get it in front of those 15,000 fans in the Rose Bowl as UCLA home games. Not well attended, but Utah gets the win on the road. Hawaii traveling to Arizona. Now Hawaii could get some, flowing here, but I'm thinking Arizona. I think.
I'm taking Arizona too. I think had this game been in Hawaii, we maybe potentially raise some questions, but I think Arizona will get the job done.
Okay, Northern Arizona, ASU. ASU starts out 1-0, no question in my mind. Portland State versus BYU. I think we're going BYU. They just named Bear Bachmeier the starting quarterback, number 47. That's going to be interesting to watch, but he gets a win in his first game there. Iowa State versus South Dakota. South Dakota, very good team, but Iowa State gets the win. I don't think we have any qualms there. K-State versus North Dakota, another pretty good FCS program, but I think K-State gets the win. I'm not picking FCS
Yeah,
Upsets, yeah.
unfortunately, unless it's a team like a Mississippi State in the SEC, you don't really have to throw any question marks unless it's South Dakota State or
Yeah.
it's North Dakota State, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah,
So,
I tend to agree with you. And, we saw James Madison move up and they've had success so far as an FBS program. So there are programs out there that could pull these upsets, but I'm not going to waste time thinking about it as of right now. Arkansas, Pine Bluff, Texas Tech, they get all the transfers in the world. Texas Tech gets a win. Robert Morris, West Virginia, we're going with West Virginia there. TCU versus UNC. Do you remember who we took in this game? I believe it was UNC, right?
yes, we took UNC in this game. And then rolling into another game that we've already predicted,
Yep.
Arizona State are going to steamroll the Mississippi State Bulldogs.
Yes, I think that's pretty much a drag race, and Arizona State puts them to sleep by halftime. We picked this game as well. I believe we went with Kansas in this game.
I don't remember, so I'm gonna lean with you.
All right, so we're going with Kansas. 3-0
3-0
start for
to
the
start.
Jayhawks.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we went with Kansas because I wasn't sure if Bo Pribula was going to be the quarterback that
Yeah,
people make him out to be. Oh
so they
man, the
get the win there.
Cyhawk.
Yeah, Cyhawk.
I'm I'm going to take myself out of consideration for this. You know who I'm going with in the Cyhawk. I'm trying to take my bias out, so
Okay.
I'll leave it up to you.
All right, and you know what? I'm going to reward you for that because last year's Cyhawk game was an absolute classic. I ended up winning a bunch of money on that game, which was great for me. But I'm going Iowa on the road. They finally have a quarterback in Gronkowski coming from South Dakota State. Surprising team. I actually think they throw for some touchdown passes in this game, which is going to be lit, super close. But, Matt Campbell, he's kind of stumbled not necessarily in the Cyhawks specifically, but in an evenly matched game, especially at home. They've tripped up a couple of times at home. So I like Iowa here.
All
Iowa
right,
gets the
I'm
W on the
glad we're on
road.
the same page. I'm fired up about Gronkowski. My mom's from Iowa. We've always been a Hawkeye family in the Cyhawk game, so I had to take my bias out. But yeah, I'm going with Iowa too. I
Yeah,
agree with everything that you said in those evenly matched games, especially with the Cyhawk too. But I got to go with my familial ties.
yeah, of course.
So yeah, all right. Moving on now into what could be an interesting game. Oregon, at least last season, had some issues in their out of conference schedule, keeping a lot of teams that they were far better than to close games. But going to Autzen Stadium, very difficult place to play. Do you think Oklahoma State have a chance in this?
No, there's nothing that showed me last year that even Mike Gundy should still have a job right now. Like, honestly, that program went from being one of the best, one of the premier, running the Big 12, being up in that consideration every single season, to last year just a complete implosion. This is not going to be a good start for them. Andrew was holding back a bit. Obviously, he's our resident Ducks fan. Oregon swamps them, possibly by 30, I think.
All
Uh,
right.
and Dante Moore looks good in that game. I really hope so for Andrew and for myself. I want to see a good Oregon team there. So they get the win there. Wow, did not know this game was being played. Forgot about it completely. This is going to be interesting. Baylor going to SMU week 2. If it were up to me, SMU would be in the Big 12 and this would be a conference game, but unfortunately not. Did we pick this, didn't we? Yeah, we
We
did
did,
pick
yeah,
this.
for the ACC.
What did we pick? I
If
don't
only
remember.
if only I had edited the ACC video before before we did this. I think we went with SMU.
Yeah,
Just
I think
close
that sounds
game, but I
right.
think the home advantage I think was the rationale we chose, but I don't remember.
Yeah, but I'm good with SMU there. This is going to be a great game. Baylor has won, actually, I found out yesterday, 12 straight games against SMU, but this time is different. This time is
This
different.
is the most complete SMU program we've seen since they got the death penalty way back when. So
Yeah,
I think this will be the time too. We're rolling into another game that we have already predicted. Stanford
BYU.
going to BYU. There's no question here. Stanford's going to struggle, even with Andrew Luck as their GM. BYU take that comfortably at home.
Yeah, Weber State, Arizona. We're going to Arizona there as they get out to a 2-0 start, which is something they really haven't had much of to begin there these last couple of years. Bowling Green at Cincinnati. I like Bowling Green, but I feel like Cincinnati probably has the advantage here, both talent, physically, and the home field there.
Yeah,
I'm good with
it's going to be a
Cincinnati.
sloppy game.
Yeah,
Another one I probably won't be watching, but yeah, I'm good with Cincinnati. And not to kind of talk you down, but Arizona did start off 2-0 last season too.
then never mind.
Yeah, they lost. They lost. I think it was week 3 was when they lost to K-State at
That's
K-State.
right.
Yep.
That's
But
right
I
because
didn't. I didn't want to be the bearer of bad news. But historically, the last few seasons prior to last year, they've struggled to start off 2-0. So
yeah, well, I remember that now because Tep Mack had like 7 touchdowns against New Mexico in week 2 that year, or last year, I believe.
actually, now that I'm thinking about it too, I think the last season of the Pac-12 they started off 2-0 too because they were a top 25 team throughout most of that season.
Okay, everyone, forget what I said. Forget all my takes.
Yeah.
Forget all.
Hey, someone's got to be the resident Pac-12 truther. So
Yeah,
bring,
that's
bring the boys back.
yeah, bring them back, honestly. All right. Delaware, new FBS team. Colorado gets a bounce back win in blowout fashion, I believe.
I agree.
This will be an interesting one. Army going to K-State. We've seen Army almost beat Oklahoma on the road when they were a top team a couple of years back. That I remember watching that game, legendary game. Um, any chance that the Black Knights get it done here?
The only way would be if Bryson Daly was still on the roster,
Yeah.
but I doubt that he is off the top of my head. I'm pretty
No,
sure
he's
he was a
not.
senior.
He's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going with K-State, though this could easily be a game that they overlook, and it's closer than it should be. Obviously, big Army guy here, Army family. It's funny how many ties I'm saying that I have, which I mean I do, but yeah, no, I'm going with K-State, although it would be really cool to see Army get a top 20, maybe a top 25 win, especially on the road too.
Yeah, I'll go with K-State as well. Army, super close. I could see this game being decided by a field goal, but K-State gets the win. There, really strange matchup. West Virginia traveling to Ohio. Uh, you know, Rich Rod back at West Virginia. I have a feeling that they win this game.
Yeah. I don't think there should be any question. I
yeah.
mean, don't sleep, like Timmy Chalamet said, don't sleep on the boy Parker Navarro coming back. Ohio could be sneaky, but I think West Virginia will find the way to get the win. Unless if they lose this game, we'll see like the last few seasons, just an utter collapse within the Mountaineers program. But I don't see a way they lose that this early in the season. I think
Yeah.
conference schedules where we'll see some slip ups.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you there. Houston on the road at Rice. Don't know too much about either one of these programs right now, but I have more confidence in Houston. I've been reading stuff and seeing articles and seeing people post about Houston as possibly being like not a sleeper to win the Big 12, but being a pretty good team this year. So I like Houston.
Yeah,
That's where I
I'm not a Rice guy at all, so I'm good with Houston. Again, Texas Tech versus Kent State. I don't think there
not
should
even
be any question about
not
that.
even close.
Yeah. UCF versus North Carolina A&T. Again, there shouldn't really be a question.
Yep.
We're gonna keep rolling.
Yep.
Utah against Cal Poly shouldn't be a question.
Yeah,
We take Utah, and then we
here we
roll
go.
into the week 3, the home and home. K-State now traveling to Arizona. K-State got the win at home last year. Special teams and turnovers were a big part of why they got that win. That was a great Friday night game. I think the first one of the season.
Yes.
Um,
Yes, it was.
I'm taking K-State in this. If you have
Yeah.
any qualms with that, okay.
No, I'm good with K-State.
I think the same thing. I just think right now that K-State's a more complete program than Arizona State is, even though they started off 2-0. I think K-State get the win even on the road.
Yeah, and Noah Favita, he's got to show me something. He threw way too many balls into double and triple coverage last year. Some really ugly interceptions, similar to Jalen Daniels, actually.
Yeah.
So he's got to show me something different before I change that pick.
Especially with the fact too that last year he had the safety blanket of having Teteroa McMillan as his
Yeah,
wide receiver one.
yeah.
Yeah, too many bad balls from Fafita last year. I hope he takes a step up. I'm not sure if he will, so I'm good with K-State.
Colorado on the road at Houston. I
I'm leaning
yeah,
Colorado, but I definitely think this is one where it might go a different way depending on how Houston looks through the first 2 weeks of the season and how Colorado looked through the first 2 games of the season. Because
yeah,
I think right now for me, I'm still taking Colorado under the assumption that they're going to be solid, that they've been building towards something with the transfers, with the recruits. Obviously, having Coach Prime now that he's fully healthy after dealing with, what was it, stomach cancer. So
yes.
glad to see him fully healthy. But I think I'm still operating under the assumption that Colorado could be a strong team this year. So I'm not sure how I feel really overall. I like Caden Salter. I've heard good things about Juju, the freshman that they brought in to compete with Salter. It could be solid. I'm not sure. Like you said, I don't really know that much about Houston. That's one of the teams that I've let fly under my radar just because historically they haven't been great, so they
Yeah.
haven't given me a reason to pay attention to them yet. I'm good with Colorado. I've just yapped for a while. I'll let you say your piece if you have anything you want to add.
This game's going to be a track meet, one of the classic Big 12 track meets. A lot of weapons on each side, better offense, way better offense than defenses for both teams. I'm going to go with Colorado on the road. Yeah, I don't have any qualms there. I think Caden Salter gets it done. If he does win the starting job, that hasn't been announced yet. I assume he will. But Julian Lewis, one of the top quarterbacks in the class. So who knows? But Colorado gets a W there. Oregon State, Texas Tech, I believe. Oh, wait, we didn't pick this game. I forgot. Oregon State traveling to Texas Tech. I'm thinking Texas Tech here.
Yeah,
Oregon State could be sneaky, like upset team, but Texas Tech, they assembled the transfer Avengers, it seems like this year, so they better win this game.
yeah, I'm taking Texas Tech too. I think a lot of it for Oregon State, it could be close if Malik Murphy plays well, the new transfer. It was funny in our ACC video when we were talking about Duke, I couldn't remember for the life of me where Malik Murphy went. He went to Oregon State. I still think Texas Tech win it, even if he plays well, though.
Yeah.
Like you said, they have the Avengers.
Yeah, it's
They,
crazy.
I think they're slightly overrated, and the running back, I'm blanking on his name right now, but yesterday
Oh,
their running back tore his ACL and he's out for the whole season. That's going to be a hit to them and for their Big 12 title hopes, but they still have a very well-rounded team.
yeah, and I'm interested to see what that Tech defense looks like specifically. Will be pretty interesting there. The backyard brawl, we already picked this game. Believe we went with Pitt here.
Yes, we
Yes, we
did.
did
I
go
think
with
we had
Pitt.
Pitt starting like 6-0 on the season and then
Yes.
collapsing.
Yeah, as usual, as we saw last year. Texas State, this is a home and home. Texas State going to Arizona State. Arizona State got the dub on the road last year. Arizona State, no question
They'll
about
get the
it.
win at home too.
Yeah, Iowa State traveling to Arkansas State. Another strange home and home game there, but Iowa State.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Iowa State. It's not close. As we're going to roll into another one that's not close. Samford traveling to Baylor. Baylor's going to win into another. It was at Northwest State versus
Yep.
Cincinnati. Cincinnati's going to get the win as we roll into another with Abilene Christian versus TCU.
TCU.
TCU's going to get the win there.
Yep.
Uh, and then this one could be sneaky. I
Okay.
don't know how many people watch a lot of the Mountain West. Laramie is a weird place
Yes.
to play. You never really want to go to Laramie if you don't have to. It's Freaky Friday over there. I don't know. I feel like the elevate well, Utah's good with the elevation. That's the hard part too, is that's a lot of the big knock, but I'll leave it up to you. Do you want to see Utah be upset by Wyoming? Do you think it could happen, or am I just putting on my tinfoil hat and speaking conspiracy right
I
now?
do think it could happen. In fact, I'm going to go with that. I think Wyoming gets the win. Utah wins or loses some of these games, like a game that they should not even, it shouldn't be close, and then they end up losing on being on the road. Laramie is a strange place to play. The crowd is raucous. You wouldn't think so for Wyoming, but it's the only thing going on there besides the beautiful nature. So the Cowboys get the win at home there, get the upset over Utah. Okay. Rivalry here. Tulsa at OK State. Sorry, Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State gets the win. I don't really think
Yeah,
too
no
much about
qualms
that one.
there. Oklahoma State wins that.
Battle for the Iron Skillet. SMU going to TCU. TCU, obviously, Josh Hoover, star quarterback. SMU returning Kevin Jennings. A lot of their weapons on offense and defense. A team that was in the playoffs last year. Believe we picked SMU in this game.
Yes, we
Yeah.
did.
Okay, and I believe we picked UNC for this game as
For that we
well.
did as well. Yep.
That could be a very good game, very entertaining game with Bill Belichick on one side, Scott Frost on the other at the Bounce House. There, and we get it instantly into our hard conference matchups here. ASU on the road at Baylor. What are you thinking, Andrew?
You know what? I thought going into this that Arizona State was going to run the house. First conference game of the season, give me Baylor. Give me the Bears
Okay.
at home. I feel like that's one of those random staple upset wins that Baylor gets at home. They're going to win it on like a field goal. It's going to be a sloppy game. Dillingham's going to be angry the whole time. I think maybe Leave It struggles a little. The loss of Cam Scatterboom maybe hurts more than we all think.
Mm,
The lack of a potential strong run game. Give me Baylor in this. I'm
okay.
fired up about the Bears this year.
I,
I think
I
they'll find a way
love
to win it.
I love Arizona State. They're definitely one of the teams that I root for, even though they're not my team. But I could definitely see this happening. I think Baylor, it is not an easy place to play in Waco. It is not easy, and Baylor gets it done. Really tight game. I agree with you. And the Baylor Bears starting out 3-1 there. Wyoming the next week travels to Colorado. I think Colorado gets the dub. I know we just picked Wyoming to beat Utah, but on the road, it's a lot different. Colorado gets a W.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think Colorado's also a better program, a better team right now than Utah is. A lot of setbacks, but yeah, I'm good with Colorado. And obviously, they're not going to Laramie, so they can have a nice little sigh of relief there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
BYU at Eastern Carolina. Eastern Carolina is going to be a solid team in the American, and we don't really know what BYU has, but I feel like we got to go BYU here.
Yeah, I one name, Darius Lassiter. He's
Yeah.
gonna have a good game. I think BYU win this.
And BYU starts out the season 3-0 without Retzlaff, which is something that maybe a lot of people kind of pushed to the wayside once he left the program there. West Virginia going to Kansas. Do we dare put Kansas at 4-0? That is the question.
You know, I'm doing it.
Yeah, I think
I'm
so too.
doing it. Shout out my boy Jackson Fox. I don't think he's gonna watch this, but my buddy, my other lover of the Bellarmine Knights in college basketball, he's a diehard Kansas fan, and honestly, I see it. I'm a big Jalen Daniels guy. He's raw, but I'm a big Jalen Daniels guy. I think they start 4-0. I think everybody's gonna be so confused why Kansas is 4-0, but I think they find the way to win.
And who knows, by this point, they could be in the top 25, sneaking in at like 23 or something like that.
Yeah.
There. So, all right, tough game here for Texas Tech on the road at Utah. Any th thoughts here? I know we just said Utah's a weak program, but Texas Tech is uncertain. They may have formed the Transfer Avengers, but not a single one of them has played in a game together before
Yeah.
week one. So,
And almost none of them have played at Rice Eccles Stadium, which is one of
yeah.
the hardest places in college football to go. I think it'll be a true test. I think they'll face some adversity. I think Texas Tech still get the win, though it's close.
Okay. I'm good with that. Utah falls to 2-2, Texas Tech 4-0 there. TCU going to ASU. ASU coming off that loss. I think that they punch down here. I think ASU gets a W. Not much explanation needed.
I agree.
Yeah. All right. So Houston going to Corvallis now. I think I'm giving the edge to Oregon State in this game. Like we said, neither one of us is that big into the Houston Cougars. We could be disrespecting them. We don't mean to be, but we both know a little bit more about Oregon State. So I feel like Oregon State gets a W here.
Yeah, give me Oregon State in that. Corvallis newly, I think it's finally fully renovated. Corvallis is semi-difficult to play at. It's not the easiest, but it's not up there in the hardest atmospheres. But yeah,
Yep.
I like Oregon State in that matchup. And
Okay. So
let me know your thoughts on this as we go into Colorado at home versus BYU. I'm a big chaos lover. I think there's going to be chaos. I'm taking Colorado in this game. Do you see that happening? Is that what you
yeah.
want to go with?
Yeah, and honestly, most of these games are toss-ups. Once we get into the meat and potatoes of this Big 12 schedule, it's a 50-50, even if one team is the last in the conference and the other team's the first in the conference. Yeah, I don't think BYU goes 5-0. So I think Colorado gets the
I
W.
think this, for me, this is the first test that Bear Bachmeier will have at BYU. Colorado, they're a very, eccentric program. They got all the cameras, all the lights. They like to talk trash,
Yep.
which is obviously a great thing. It's fun to watch. A lot of people hate on them, but I think it makes for good entertainment. At Colorado, too, they need kind of that staple win post Shadur, post Travis Hunter. I think this is the one they get it done. I think Bachmeier struggles on the road at Colorado. So I think Colorado win by 2 score in this game.
Okay, I like that. I don't know what time that game is, but I assume that could be one of those Friday night games that Fox has. I Just guessing. And if it is, I like Colorado even more.
Well, it 4-1 versus 3-1. It could be a game day game. We don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, who knows? But Colorado gets the W at home. Arizona traveling to Iowa State. I like Iowa State a lot more than I like Arizona. Arizona's still trying to figure it out. So I think Cyclones here.
Yep, I'm in agreement with you.
Okay. Cincinnati at Kansas. Is Kansas going to 5-0?
Yes, I don't think
Yes.
Cincinnati beat them. Which
Yeah.
is crazy to me that we're sitting here with an undefeated Kansas, but you know what? We're doing it.
Yeah, we're doing it. We're really doing it.
We came in
Kansas.
saying we had no idea what was going to happen. We got Kansas undefeated through first 5 weeks of the season.
Yep.
You got to love the Big 12, man.
Yep. And I'm sure they were towards the bottom of that preseason ranking. Don't know the exact spots, but Kansas 5-0 to begin. I believe that would make them first in the Big 12 up to this point. All right, UCF going to K-State. UCF exciting team. Scott Frost comes back. They get slammed in Manhattan. I really don't think it's that close.
Yeah, no question.
Okay, so there we go. Baylor at Stillwater. Now, if this was last year's Oklahoma State team and I had watched one game of them, I would have gone Baylor by 4 scores. But having said that, I gotta think Mike Gundy's gonna bounce back a little bit. Still like Baylor in this game, but I think it's gonna be close.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's close. I don't think Oklahoma State's going to be the same pushover team in conference that they were
Yeah.
last year. Obviously, they didn't win a conference game last season. I still think Baylor's the better team right now. I think Gundy will do everything that he can with his coaching accolades, just being a historic and a veteran coach, but I think Baylor will find a way to win it.
Yeah, so Baylor gets the W there. Utah at West Virginia to finish out week 5. Uh, I think we've disrespected Utah a little bit, and I like them in this game.
Yeah, I agree. I think West Virginia's trying to rebuild.
Yeah,
I
they're
think Utah's more complete than West Virginia is right now.
yeah, I
But
definitely
again, this one, you sneeze and the score changes. So I really couldn't predict it. It could go either way.
yeah. So the very next week we got West Virginia at BYU. I think we're giving the edge to BYU
Yeah.
if I had to assume.
Yeah.
Another game, a lot of scoring. Kamari Lassiter, possible 3 touchdown game if I if I had to pick the lines right now. Okay. Oklahoma State at Arizona. I feel like we should reward Oklahoma State, but at the same time, Arizona would be what? I gotta click on this. If we pick, they'd be 2-3. We're looking at 3-2 Oklahoma State. This is really a toss-up game. What are you thinking?
I was leaning a little bit more towards Arizona just
Yeah,
because in true toss-ups, I tend to lead with the home
home
team.
team.
But unless you're that convinced that Arizona is going to be that much better than Oklahoma State.
Yeah, I'm not. I really think it's a toss-up, but I'm good with going with Arizona. I have no qualms with that pick.
All right.
Yeah, so Arizona W at home. K-State versus Baylor. This is where they start knocking each other out. The edges with Baylor at home. That's really the difference there. I think they're more talented, but I also see this as a game where K-State like wins.
Yeah. Chaos, chaos, chaos. The second I saw that, I said K-State, but
Okay.
again, I'll
Oh,
I'll leave it up to you.
yeah, let's go
I
K-State. Let's
Okay,
go.
K-State. Yeah, I think that we see another conference explosion this year.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think that's just about nail on the head there. Iowa State at Cincinnati. If you remember this game last year, Cincinnati was up like 14 points late in the fourth at Iowa State, and they ended up losing that game in the final 30 seconds.
Yeah,
Do they get revenge?
torrential town downpour in Ames last year.
Yeah.
Monsoon season. I remember. I think I posted the video on TikTok about it after. That game was ridiculous. No, they don't get revenge. Iowa State's going to win this game unless it's another torrential downpour in the great state of Ohio.
Yeah.
It could be, but
Yeah.
I don't.
Who knows?
I'm not going to pick a game based on the possibility of weather. I'm taking
Weather.
Iowa State.
Yeah, okay. So Texas Tech on the road at Houston. Well, I just want to see the records here. Okay, so we're looking at a possible undefeated Texas Tech if they win this game. The edge is certainly with them in terms of talent. Uh, Houston struggled last year in the Big 12. They are going to be better, but I don't think they're that much better,
Yeah,
if that makes
I'd go Texas Tech.
Texas Tech here. Colorado at TCU. Toss up. TCU is the
Yeah,
home team.
that's a tough one.
Yeah, this to me, this smells like a TCU victory. This smells like a game where Colorado is riding high. They have one loss to this point. They're in the top 25, maybe overlook TCU a little bit, and TCU beats them either by a score or two.
Yeah, I'm good with that. I'm good to take TCU. I would be curious to see what the line is going into this game. But yeah, I feel like it smells like a trap game, but
Yeah.
I think TCU will find a way to win it.
Okay, so TCU there. Kansas at the bounce house, UCF. Is this where the train stops?
Oh man, I almost want to spin my chair away and not look.
Yeah.
What do we currently have UCF at? Are they 2-4 going
They
into
if they
this?
lose, they're two
Oh,
and
they got a
two right
two
now.
and okay. Oh man, I don't have faith in Scott Frost, but I
No,
don't
I
know
don't
I have
either.
can't. You know what? Screw it. Kansas
Yeah,
6-0.
Kansas.
I don't have faith in the UCF Knights, man. I just don't. I can't really believe my eyes that Kansas is 6-0, but I don't think I mean this what a schedule that they have
Yeah.
to set themselves up for success. They're walking into bowl eligibility and it's week 6.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that. And really, quite frankly, based on the home and away part of it, Kansas's hardest game to this point was at Missouri week two. So that I mean, if they were to win that game, who knows? And we're off and riding. The Jayhawks are all their fans are sky high right now.
Yeah. Could you imagine if Kansas, the basketball school, was 6-0? They'd probably be what, top 15 at the
Yeah,
worst?
yeah, probably.
Insane.
Yeah, unless they got the group of five treatment where they were still in the mid 20s, even though they were 6-0.
Yeah. We'll see. What are you thinking with this game? Do you see chaos in this game, or are you riding with BYU?
I feel chaos. I
Okay.
feel chaos. I feel like Arizona gets this win. Maybe slightly. I just don't know enough about BYU right now and what they're going to look like with a completely new quarterback,
Yeah.
to say that I'm confident in them.
All right. Yeah. I'm good with Arizona then. I will really, I mean, it's a true freshman in Bear Bachmeier too. So
Yeah. 4-2 Arizona.
yeah, not bad. Like I said, we're queuing up for some chaos.
Yep.
All right.
UCF Cincinnati Old American game. Do you like either team any more than the other? I feel like this is kind of a toss up.
You see, the reason that I like UCF more than I like Cincinnati is not even a football related thing. So, no, but I guess we'll go with the home team with Cincinnati just because.
Wait, why do you like UCF more though?
Oh, the broadcast, I can't remember who they were playing, but what do you got? Still on his feet. On like
Oh yeah,
and
yeah,
20, throws it downfield like 20 seconds. It's God. My
yeah.
favorite broadcast call of all time.
Yep.
But
And
that's the reason why I'd pick them in the toss up, but it has nothing to do with the teams or the football that's being played.
okay, so we'll take Cincinnati at home. That was a legendary moment from this past year. Probably the highlight of their Big 12 campaign, to be
Was that
completely honest.
last year? I thought that was
It
like
was last year, yeah.
no way. I thought that was like 2 years, 3 years
Or
ago.
maybe it was 2 years ago. It was either 2 years or last year.
Yeah, I don't know. We're getting so sidetracked with this. This is what I love about the Big 12. There's so many crazy. This is what the Pac-12 used to be like, but
Yeah.
now it's kind of the Big 12.
Yeah, it's just a fever dream. The Big 12 season is a fever dream week to week. It changes just like that in a snap. Iowa State on the road at Colorado. Personally, like Iowa State more as a team, but it's going to be hard in Folsom down there or up there, I should say, in Boulder. I like the Cyclones. Who do you like?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll take the Cyclones too.
So Cyclones sitting at 6-1, headed into week 8 there. TCU in Manhattan at K-State. I like K-State way better than I like TCU at this
I agree
point.
with you on that.
All right, so K-State also 6-1, but does have that loss head to head with Iowa State, which will happen this Saturday. Houston at Oklahoma State in Stillwater. I'm giving the edge to the home team. If yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
I'm with you too. I think Oklahoma State find a way to win that.
And they match their win total from last year and get a conference win, which is something they were unable to do last year.
Exactly. Improvement. This is wow. For us, this will if this happened, this would be the game day game of that
Yeah.
week. unless what is it, week 7? I don't know. I can't remember
Yeah, I
off the
don't
top of
off
my
the top
head
of your head.
what other games are going on week 7 out of conference. Wow, they're both undefeated right now in
Yeah,
ours. 6
yeah.
0, 6-0 Texas Tech at home versus 6-0 Kansas. Two teams that probably, don't expect to really be the two front runners for the Big 12 right now. Who do you have in this matchup? What do you think? Is it the Jayhawks or is it the Red Raiders? What are we doing with this?
This game is 56 to 55 in triple OT. Actually, no, they in regulation they score that many points and then they get to 70 in triple OT. Ah, you know what? This has nothing to do with football, but it kind of does. Texas Tech's athletic director voted so that they could keep the tortillas. He was the only guy in the Big 12 to vote for throwing things on the field. And they're going to throw a lot of tortillas in this game. And I think Texas Tech gets the W. Jalen Daniels, one stupid throw, maybe has like two picks or something like that to go with his six touchdowns, three rushing, whatever it is. Texas Tech in an absolute classic.
All right, I love it. I'm
Yeah.
fired up. I'm ready to see those tortillas being pelted onto the
Yeah.
field.
All right. Arizona State on the road at Bryce Eccles. Do we see Arizona State slip up and possibly eliminate themselves from the playoff in this game?
I'm gonna say no, but
Okay.
I do think it's a possibility. As you can see, the mouse is hovering over it. Who they have at home the week after,
Yeah.
that is definitely the game that they're definitely gonna be looking
Yeah.
past Utah at that point to say we have to be ready at home versus Texas Tech. It'll be close. Rice Eccles again, extremely hard to play at. I think they come from behind to win this game. I think it's a lesson of adversity, and it's going to fire them up for the next week. That big comeback win. I think they go down by 10, maybe 14, and then in the second half, just a war of attrition. They come back and find a way to win it.
Love that. Kenny Dillingham just gritting his teeth the entire game, screaming, cursing, staring. And that's just what he does best and what he's seen. One of the
Exactly.
exciting young coaches in FBS. I like that. I'm good with the Sun Devils there. Moving into it, possibly the game of the week in the Big 12, Texas Tech at Arizona State. Uh, who you giving the edge to? I know you just said they.
Again, back-to-back games that could potentially end up being the game day game. I'm taking Arizona State. Like I said, I think they have a big comeback win the week prior at Utah. They come home, they're fired up. They know we beat this team. We're looking pretty good for the Big 12 title. They're overrated. They're overhyped. They're undefeated for what? Kenny Dillingham's going to get them fired up. We just came back and beat Utah. We're going to do it on our home soil. Give me Arizona State in this game. They're going to be riding a high and
Yep.
find a way to win this game.
Love that. Love that. And the chaos ensues. Now we got, I believe, four 6-1 teams heading into week 8 here. Utah, Holy War at BYU. Toss-up game. Both teams will be pretty good to decent. I feel like BYU has the advantage because they're at home, but Utah seems to dominate this game usually. Uh, do you have any sort of way you're feeling here?
I'm kind of scared to comment on this because the last Holy War, I got so much hate in our TikTok comment section for claiming that I didn't personally agree with the defensive holding call that changed the game, that won BYU the
Yep.
game. Uh, so I don't really want to say, but you know what? Give me Utah in it.
Yeah, give me.
It's the Holy War for a reason. Battle of the Mormons. I
Yeah, Utah.
you never know with this game. What's written on the golden tablets, we'll never know.
Yeah.
Give me Utah. It flips every year.
Yeah, it really does. Yeah, I'm good with the Utes there. They get the W on the road. Get some revenge after that uh, call last year that inevitably led BYU to have a chance at the playoff until very late in the season. Arizona at Houston. We've been given a lot of love to teams not named Houston, so I feel like Houston gets the W
Yeah.
here. That's
This
my
is
reason.
this is the one where they just randomly win. We're like, all right, Houston. All right.
Yeah. All right, you're in.
Yeah,
You got
cool.
it.
Welcome to the Big 12.
Yeah. Houston gets it there. Cincinnati at Oklahoma State. Now, depending on how bad you think Oklahoma State is, Cincinnati could have a chance here, or a very good chance, I should say. What
I'm
do you
gonna be
think?
honest. I don't I don't know much about this year's Oklahoma
Yeah,
State.
me either.
We can kind of go and I'm good to take Oklahoma State. I think they'll be better than last year. They lose Ollie Gordon, which obviously will hurt them, but he didn't even play well last year anyway.
Yeah, they
It's
get
not like they
four
really
wins.
lost production. So
Hey, and Alan Bowman coming back for his eighth freaking year. So this guy should be doing your taxes by now, but he's playing college quarterback in Stillwater.
LinkedIn
We'll take
fears
him.
this man.
Yeah.
Lordy.
Yeah. All right. So Baylor at TCU rivalry game. Baylor, I believe we just had them losing. It's been a while since we picked a Baylor game, but I believe we had them losing last game. I think they come in and they beat TCU. There's just not enough confidence for me in TCU there.
I'm in
They're
agreement.
in at 5-2. There, West Virginia going to the bounce house. Toss up sort of game. Not really sold on either team. Talent level similar. You want to give it to UCF here since
Yeah.
they're
Yeah, we'll do that. Bounce House will be going crazy.
yeah, okay. West Virginia, if they start out 2-5, Rich Rod's seat is already going to be hot, even though he just returned. And they've been hyping that one up. Houston at ASU. ASU's rolling. I really think ASU gets a W there. Baylor at Cincinnati. So now with this expanded Big 12, we actually have some Texas teams that got to play some pretty cold games later in the year. Maybe that'll be some advantage. I think Baylor's much better than Cincinnati. Um, but who knows? What are you thinking? You
Yeah,
thinking
I'm
Baylor?
taking Baylor.
Yeah, all right.
I don't week 9, that'll still be like early to mid October. So it's not gonna get that cool and
Yeah,
chilly
you're right.
unless it's a night game.
Yeah.
If it's a noon or a mid, afternoon kickoff, I don't think it's anything to worry about with the weather.
Yeah, completely agree there. Baylor gets a W there. BYU, Iowa State could determine who goes to the Big 12 title game for teams not named Iowa State. So Iowa State sitting there 6-1. Do they get their second loss or do they take care of business at home?
That's tough. That's another
That
tough
is a tough
matchup.
game.
I'm gonna say they win. Again,
Okay.
I'm not really that confident in putting all my faith in a true freshman quarterback.
Okay.
So I'm going to roll with Iowa State. Rocco Beck, Matt Campbell, they have the experience. They know what it's like to fight these tough battles. So just slightly for them.
And watch out for this guy, Chad Hansen. He's going to be the starting running back for Iowa State. Another one of those white boy running backs who's big, burly, and likes to lower his shoulder. So I like him. I used him so much in college football 25. I had a dynasty with Iowa State. That's why I have love for the Cyclones. But yeah, they get the job done. 7-1, moving on there. The Sunflower Showdown, Kansas hosting Kansas State. Do they come back down to reality after losing to Texas Tech?
Yeah, I think Kansas State win this game. I
Yeah,
think this is where we kind of see the cracks form where you're riding the high, you start off 6-0, but then we start to remember Kansas is a basketball school for a reason.
yeah.
And unfortunately, I think this will probably be one of the rougher games out of Jalen Daniels. I think he'll get flustered. Yeah, I think K-State win the game.
Hey, but still bowl eligible, and that's not something to sneeze at, especially for Kansas there. K-State sitting at 7-1 as well. Now we got both these teams 7-1, but obviously Iowa State's got the head-to-head. Be interesting to see when we look at the standings. At the end, Oklahoma State traveling to Texas Tech. Texas Tech, I trust a lot more.
I agree.
Yeah. All right. So Texas Tech gets the W there. They're also 7-1. Wow.
And I
Uh,
think Arizona State is also 7-1
yes.
as well.
Yeah. So it's all going to come down to head to head, possibly point differential, if you look at it that way. Colorado traveling to Utah. I think this is a toss-up game in my mind, but I feel like, and this happened a lot last year, where Colorado would come in, talk trash during the week, go on the road, and then just absolutely hit a brick wall. I personally, Deion Sanders, great personality, but I don't think he has what it takes to be that successful week to week coach. And I think Rice Eccles eats them alive.
Yeah, we've been talking so much about Rice Eccles and how hard it is to play there, but we haven't picked them to win a game in any of those tough matchups. I'm taking it now. I'm taking Utah to win this game.
Utah wins that game. Colorado 4-4. Some questions there for them to answer. TCU at West Virginia. Smells of a shootout all over it. Both teams, I believe, are yeah, they're both 2-5 heading into this game. We-
Give me West Virginia. They're
Okay.
gonna they're gonna be singing country roads after this. Gonna like you said, it's gonna be a shootout. I agree with that, but I think they'll just slightly win.
Okay, so West Virginia gets the W there. UCF at Baylor. Like Baylor a lot more. I don't like the reasoning or any reasoning for that one. They're
Agreed.
sitting at 7-2, hoping for a team to lose to possibly sneak into that title game. Arizona at Colorado. Colorado coming off the loss. I like Colorado in this game.
Me too.
All right, so they get to 5-4. West Virginia at Houston. Um,
Give me Houston
yeah,
again. Just home team, but it could go either way. I think they've slightly performed better based on our projections. So
okay. Houston there. Now we got one. Iowa State hosting Arizona State. Last year's Big 12 title game. Obviously, Arizona State gave them the business in Dallas last year. Does Iowa State get revenge here? I personally, I'm leaning Sun Devils, even though
yeah,
it's on.
I'm leaning Sun Devils too. I think it's going to look very similar to last year, where I just don't think Iowa State's going to run with them. I think Arizona State's going to remember why they were probably the favorite to win the Big 12 going in. Yeah, I like the Sun Devils in that game.
Okay, so we got ASU sitting at 8-1. They're heading into the very last weeks of the season. Oklahoma State at Kansas. Kansas, I believe, bounces back in this game.
Yes.
Yeah. 7-2 for them. And they're in the running here. They're in the running. If a couple games go their way, we're looking at a Kansas in the Big 12 title game type deal there. Speaking of which, Texas Tech traveling to Manhattan to play KSU. I'm sure Kansas is going to be watching this game closely.
Yeah. And like you said, you just said Kansas is going to need some help, and I think they get it with this game. I love K-State in this game. I think we're finally going to see why Texas Tech is overrated. And obviously, all the transfers coming in, everybody's hyping them up and putting them on a pedestal. I think K-State find a way to win. They say, we've been in the Big 12. We've been that team. You're not that team. We're going to win. And I think Manhattan's going to go electric. I think it starts off big turnover first play, like first drive of the game.
Okay.
K-State get the ball, and it's just downhill from there for the Texas Tech Red Raiders.
Like a long Dylan Edwards catch or run out of the backfield gets it started. Avery Johnson read option keep 50-yard touchdown to start it off, and it just doesn't slow down from there. Okay, Cincinnati at Utah. I like Utah in this
Same.
game. Cincinnati, don't really know much about them,
Yeah.
to be honest. So for all you Cincinnati fans out there, we're sorry, but we're not that sorry. Utah gets the W. There, another old American matchup, Houston at UCF. I think this is a game that UCF wins. I just feel like they'll beat. Actually, no, we went with Cincinnati before, but UCF at home, I'll give the edge to them.
Okay. Yeah, I'm good with that one.
Okay, so there we go. Kansas at Arizona.
I want to put Kansas, and I
Ah,
don't, but I kind of feel like they get their help and then they immediately just
yeah,
throw it away. I
and
think
they fold.
Arizona at home, Fafita, this will be the game where everybody's like, why couldn't Fafita do this every
Yeah.
single week? He goes crazy. I think there's an upset there.
And this is the game of the what if quarterbacks, the ones that explode, have like 5, 6 touchdowns, and then they turn around and have 3 turnovers the next week. And that's what each of these quarterbacks have shown over their playing careers thus far. Arizona gets the upset, and unfortunately, Kansas is outside looking in on that Big 12 title game as of right now. Iowa State on the road at TCU. This could be an upset brewing, but I feel like Iowa State gets the W, especially after losing to ASU in the fashion that we think they will.
Yeah, same.
Okay, so they're sitting at 8-2 now. BYU at Texas Tech. Texas Tech's got a rough stretch towards the end of the season. A lot of these games, I feel like they're going to probably be favored in, but I might be taking the underdog in a bunch of these.
I'm
Uh,
taking the underdog right now. I'm
yeah,
taking BYU in this game.
BYU.
I've been taking a lot of it, saying I don't want to put my belief in Bear Bachmeier, but I think this is one. We said it the week prior. Texas Tech's going to start to show their flaws. They're going to start showing them cracks, and I think they continue to crack. I think BYU find a way to win it.
See, obviously the season hasn't started yet, but Texas Tech reminds me a lot of that Old Miss team from last year. A lot of NIL money, supposed to be the best team in program history heading into it. Or obviously Texas Tech's had better teams in the past, but of recent, I mean. And they kind of fall short, have a good year, but not great. You get what I'm saying there?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right. So Colorado on the road at West Virginia. I believe if Colorado wins, they're bowl eligible. I just wanted to check that. Do you like Colorado in this game?
Yeah, there's no question. Colorado is the better team than West Virginia, and we can quick cycle it into the next game
Yeah.
too. Arizona State will beat West Virginia.
Yeah. West Virginia down bad. Possibly this year's Oklahoma State type team where it really the wheels come off the wagon somewhat early. All right. So Utah on the road at Baylor. I like Baylor a lot more
Me as
than
well.
Utah. Okay, so Baylor there. TCU at BYU. I want to give it to TCU just for the heck of it because I don't think they're going to be that bad. I
Yeah,
believe we have them with 2 wins right now. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I agree. I don't think they're as bad as we have them, but at the same time, their matchups are pretty tough. So
Yeah.
it's kind of realistic potentially, but we really don't know. But yeah, I agree. I mean, it's same. I'm even kind of looking at BYU. I'm not sure if they'll really be 5-5.
Yeah, I think they're
But
probably
I mean, it's
better.
hard with how unpredictable this conference is. There's going to be some teams that just get blown out of proportion, either good or terribly. So,
Yeah, that's what happened last year, and that gave us cinema all throughout the year. So I have no problems with that.
exactly. All
All
right,
right.
moving on. I'm taking Arizona
Okay.
over Cincinnati,
Arizona like that.
taking
K-State.
K-State over Oklahoma State.
Yep. Like that as
I'm
well.
taking Texas Tech over
Yep.
UCF.
Like that. I I think Baylor in this game as well
Yeah,
gets the W at Arizona. BYU at Cincinnati.
I'm thinking
Kind of
BYU.
BYU. All right,
Yeah,
fine. We'll go BYU there. Cincinnati 3-8. Um, in my humble opinion, I think this is one of the teams that should have stayed in the American
agreed.
because they'd be group of five candidate every single year. I'm not sure why these teams jumped to the Power Four.
They'd still be in the American had they not made the playoffs.
Yeah, probably, and I think we could say the same for Houston and UCF as well. And Memphis wouldn't be so handily, giving money to the Big 12 if that wasn't the case. Also, they kind of feel like they've been left behind. But I'd argue the G5 for these upper echelon G5 that moved up to the P4, it would have been better to say G5 because you have a guaranteed playoff spot if you're the best team out of the group of five, which one of these teams usually was.
Yeah, exactly. It was a boneheaded decision. I understand the growth, the want for a bigger revenue share with all the CBA stuff that's going on behind
Yeah.
the scenes with conferences. That part makes sense. But if you're not a high performing team constantly, you're gonna get to this point where you're just the bottom feeder of your
Yeah.
conference because you jumped the gun too early.
Yeah, and I think we'll see that. Maybe not with Boise State since they're going to move to the Pac-12, which will be a glorified G6 at that point. But with the other teams, we're seeing it here. All right, tough game. Arizona State on the road at Folsom, at Colorado. I still like ASU better. I just feel like Coach Prime hasn't won a game like this yet. They haven't won a game where the standard is set so high, and they haven't beaten a team that was better than them yet. And I think ASU's better than them.
Yeah, I certainly agree with you there.
All right, 10-1. I feel like they're guaranteed into the Big 12 at this point. Might be the only one-loss team left. TCU at Houston. I want to give another win to TCU because I really don't think they're going to only
All right.
have
Yeah.
yeah, both 4-7 there. Kansas at Iowa State. I like Iowa State
Yeah,
better.
me too. I
Yeah.
think we're at the point now. I think when you play a game like that, I think it'll be close, but I think Iowa State's a better top to bottom program.
Yeah. Okay. Oklahoma State at the Bounce House. Kind of a garbage time game for both teams. Uh, any way you're leaning, any favoritism here or anything like that?
I would take Oklahoma State,
Okay. Yeah.
but whoever wins, it's not going to change my day by any measure of a doubt.
Yeah.
Again, this is probably another game I'm not going to watch.
Yeah, that's
I
fair.
don't even know if I'll have coverage for it, but
Yeah.
we'll see.
This is gonna be one of them ESPN Plus games that
Yeah,
you gotta have.
exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
K-State at Rice Eccles, Utah trying to play spoiler in a possible Big 12 title game appearance for K-State. What do you think?
I'm leaving this to you. I
Okay.
could see I could really see it happening, but I don't know.
I think I'm gonna go with the Utes. I
Okay.
really do. I know you're big on Avery Johnson. I kind of feel like he folds in these kind of games up to this point, and until he proves me wrong, I'm gonna have him folding in this one, and Utah gets the W.
I'm good with it. The ghosts of Rice Eccles, it continues to take souls, man. You
And
know.
they're sitting at 7-4. I think that's a pretty good spot to be after Cam Rising controlled your program for what was it, 5 years, 6 years, or whatever it
Yeah, it
was.
was like 6, maybe 7 years.
Yeah, that's
But
crazy.
yeah.
I always rooted for him too. I always
I
did.
didn't. He was in the Pac-12. You know how I felt. That Anthony Brown year with the Ducks. Oh,
Yeah. Oh, that was
0-2 against Utah. Terrible.
yeah.
All right, we're talking about a different conference, so I
Yeah.
digress.
Yeah.
Let's keep it moving as we get to pretty much the end of the regular season. Arizona State won this game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Territorial Cup, this game was a blowout last year. There was a lot of fighting, and I think it'll be probably about the same.
Yeah, agreed. I think Kansas won this game.
Yeah. An
I think
eight
had it
win
been,
season.
yep, 8-win season. You're going to be completely proud of that if
Yes.
you're a Jayhawk fan.
Lance Leipold.
Maybe not so much as you start off 6-0 in the front stretch and then
Yeah.
go 2-4 in the back stretch.
Yeah.
But yeah, disappointing. But at the same time, can you really be upset with an 8-4 season when Kansas has been Kansas for forever?
Now I gotta say, I think if they get to these 8 wins, I think Lance Leipold's gone. I think he gets scooped up by either an SEC team or a Big 10 team, gets a better job, sees a greener pasture, and moves on. But we'll see. I mean, we've seen coaches stay at a place that they've built up as well. So maybe he doesn't, but I think he's a candidate to possibly move up, take maybe like an LSU job or something like that if that's available, or Ole Miss.
Yeah, it'd be certainly very interesting to see what a season though that would be for the Jayhawks. Moving, let's just keep it moving.
Yep.
Baylor
Baylor.
in this game over Houston.
I like
BYU
BYU.
will beat
Okay.
UCF.
Good game. Dylan Edwards, revenge game, plays his old team. I like K-State in this one after they get the loss. They're sitting at 10-2 here. And 6-6 is about where I think Colorado will be.
Yeah,
So
it's hard to predict right now because we don't know how good either Caden Salter or Julian Lewis is going to be. So
they
I'm good.
lost so much.
Yeah,
They really
they
lost
really have.
a
Shadur, Travis Hunter, Jimmy Horn,
yeah,
they pretty much
the
all of
Lester
their offense.
brothers.
Yeah,
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 all weapons.
yeah. I'm fine. I'm not. I have no qualms about them going 6-6. Yeah, Iowa State will beat
Iowa
Oklahoma
State.
State.
For the
I think TCU beat Cincinnati.
I
I
think
think Texas Tech win that game
Texas Tech.
too. Is that to
Okay,
round
so
out? Okay, we have nine games left.
all right. Nine games left. Okay, all right. So we're sitting here, 9 games left. I believe it's a conference title.
Yeah. It's probably all the yeah. There we go. So this is the final. The way the tiebreakers would go, we have Baylor and Iowa
Iowa
State.
State. Wait, what?
I'm curious what the tiebreak factor
Yeah, I got to
would
see this
be.
here. How is that possible?
Uh, so it's probably head to head who beat who. Because we have well, how would K-State? Who did Iowa State lose to? Iowa State lost to.
Arizona State
Yep.
and Iowa.
And Iowa. So they would be 8. So how is K-State above? Oh, they wouldn't be. K-State wouldn't be above because of their conference record in the tiebreaker. So Iowa State would jump them.
I believe it's strength. I believe it might, or no, it's not. Oh, yeah, it is. It is strength.
Hmm.
Strength of schedule. Iowa State's got a tougher strength of schedule than Arizona State, and they have the same conference record. Baylor does as well, just slightly.
And they must have split like the head-to-head must be all the way
Yeah.
down to differential. That's insane.
Okay.
All
Well,
right.
for
So
the sake of it.
I'm taking Iowa State to win it this year.
Okay.
Yeah, I like Baylor, but I think Iowa State in a neutral site game will win that game.
I like that. And honestly, since we might as well have it, we both think Arizona State's going to be playing in this game. I know based on the formula, we didn't have it. So if you could replace one team with Arizona State, which one do you think it would be? And then
It would
I
probably be Baylor, and then I would probably take Arizona State to beat
yeah,
Iowa State again. But yeah, but based on how they presented it, obviously,
Iowa State is our
yeah,
champ.
Yeah, very, very interesting. That was kind of shocking to me, obviously, as we look at the bottom. Hey, at least nobody finished winless in conference this year.
Yeah,
Something to
that's
take
sweet.
away. I think that this honestly, maybe some of the win-loss will shift either a couple more losses or a couple more wins, but I think this very
I
well could
think
be a realistic representation
yeah.
of what the Big 12 could look like as we go into the regular season. What are we like 4 days away as we're recording
Yes.
this?
So
Very,
sick.
very excited. But yeah, there you have it. This has been our, predictions for the Big 12 this season. Very interesting to say the least.
Yeah.
A lot of things changing, but this, as always, has been a fun experiment. It's kind of fun to go through and pick our brains as we go through right before the season starts. I'm excited. Big 12 should be just as chaotic as last year. But yeah, so there you have it. Let us know down below in the comments how you think we did. Who do you think? Do you think Texas Tech is going to be as big as everyone thinks? Do you think Arizona State wins back-to-back Big 12 titles? Let us know your thoughts down below and how you think we did. Make sure to like and subscribe, share us with your friends, if you're interested. As always, thank you so much for tuning in. It's Andrew, as always, joined by Tyler with Sideline Signal, and have a great rest of your day, everyone. And let's get some football going on Saturday.
Yep.